In my opinion, the godlike being known as Galactus is one of the most ingenious comic book characters ever conceived. He's a cosmic entity who drains planets of their energy in order to feed on them and sustain his own life. Due to this kind of destructive yet necessary existence, it's quite obvious that Galactus is free of all morality, disregards the right and wrong of everything, the good and evil. He is above it, beyond it, as close to a god as you can possibly get, without actually being one, of course. Ever since I was a child, I have been quite fond of this character. He stands out, is larger than life, and the concept behind him, being a world eater, always felt unsettling to me, even a bit terrifying. Galactus made his debut in Fantastic Four number 48 from March of 1966, which would be the first in what would become a three-part story, known as the Galactus Trilogy. It not only introduced Galactus to Marvel readers, but also his herald, the Silver Surfer. The story arc was written by Stan Lee and illustrated by Jack Kirby, and is one of their most iconic. So, today, join me as I run down and review the Galactus Trilogy, considered to be one of the greatest storylines of the Silver Age. In the depths of outer space, a mysterious being, known as the Silver Surfer, hurtles through the Andromeda Galaxy. A group of Skrulls notice him from their planet and order it to be blackened out immediately. They don't fear the Surfer, but what his appearance brings with it. On their way back to the Baxter Building in their private jet, the Thing and the Fantastic Four notices that there are two suns in the sky. One of them begins growing in size rapidly and engulfs the entire skyline with intense flame. Oddly enough, there is no heat from it though, none whatsoever, but it does cause a citywide panic, with the citizens believing the Human Torch was somehow responsible for it. While this is happening, the Silver Surfer arrives in our galaxy, locating our sun, and knows that there is a planet nearby that contains the energy and elemental resources his master Galactus requires. On Earth, the sky flames begin disappearing and are replaced with orbiting space debris that nearly blocks out the sunlight. It's revealed that all the atmospheric phenomena has been caused by the Watcher, Uatu, and his matter mobilizer. Sue reminds him about his vow to only observe the universe and to never interfere with other worlds. But Uatu's just like, dude, something is coming. I have to interfere just this once. It'll never happen again. I call bullshit. This guy has broken his vow too many times to count. It's actually kind of hilarious how bad he is at his job. Despite Uatu's attempts at hiding the planet Earth, the Silver Surfer manages to get through the space debris and arrives. He then lands on top of the Baxter Building and signals his master, with the Fantastic Four and the Watcher powerless to stop him. Angered, Thing punches the Surfer off of the roof, which knocks him unconscious, and Uatu explains that the real danger lies within Galactus now, who is entering Earth's atmosphere as they speak, preparing to consume the planet's energies. Galactus's mothership descends over New York City and releases several testing devices that scan and sample Earth's elemental composition, and have found what the mighty being is looking for. At long last, Galactus exits his ship and declares his intention of consuming the world. As the Fantastic Four look on in utter disbelief, Uatu attempts to persuade Galactus to leave the Earth alone, explaining that there is intelligent life on it. Well, mostly intelligent. Okay, I guess not that intelligent. Humans can be pretty shitty. Galactus is also sporting a new color scheme, brown and purple, as opposed to his red and green design from last issue, a much-needed improvement. Uatu pleads with Galactus, telling him that the past worlds he has devoured were dead, without any living creatures, and that Earth contains billions of human beings, that he will kill if he consumes the planet's energies. None of this matters to Galactus, though. Ending the lives of petty creatures is regrettable, unfortunate, but necessary if he is to survive. The Human Torch attempts to attack Galactus with his fire, but it has no effect, and the godlike being smothers Johnny's flames with energy beams from his eyes. Defeated, the Fantastic Four return to the Baxter Building by the behest of the Watcher and try to formulate some sort of plan. The Silver Surfer regains consciousness and finds himself falling into the apartment of blind sculptress Alicia Masters, Ben Grimm's love interest. Sensing he is wounded, Alicia offers her assistance to the Surfer and is apparently psychic because she believes he is not of this world. Good guess. Galactus begins assembling a massive device on top of the Baxter Building that will convert the life essence of the Earth into a form of elemental energy he can then devour. Uatu returns and tells Mr. Fantastic that he has a plan to stop Galactus using a special machine not found on Earth, one that only the Human Torch can reach. Back at Alicia Masters' apartment, the Silver Surfer informs her of his mission and what Galactus intends to do with the planet. She tries to appeal to him, explaining that despite humans being weaker than Galactus, they still have the right to live. They have hearts and souls. As the Surfer looks outside her window at the crazed populace below, he begins to feel pity for them, for us. Galactus's energy converter nears completion, but before he can fire it, something is wrong. The thing has climbed on top and has ripped off a part of the machine. He then proceeds to use it like a baseball bat and whack Galactus right off the Baxter Building. Ben then throws Reed into him, who has turned himself into a ball. Before Galactus can hit the ground, though, he activates an anti-gravity device, which catches him in the air. To get rid of the thing and Mr. Fantastic, so he can repair his energy converter, Galactus summons his cyborg minion known as the Punisher. Using a special device, Uatu gives Johnny the ability to travel by time-space distortion to Galactus's planet so they can acquire the weapon needed to defeat him. The home planet of Galactus is not so much a planet as it is a giant space station, beautifully and bizarrely visualized by the amazing Jack Kirby. His artwork is always so impressive and fascinating. The mindless and unassumingly strong Punisher robot begins fighting Reed, Sue, and Ben, easily overpowering them and forcing them to retreat into one of Sue's force fields. While that's transpiring, Alicia Masters gets through to the Silver Surfer and convinces him to save the Earth from Galactus and turn against his master, the first time any herald of the World Eater has done so. The Surfer flies to the top of the Baxter Building and confronts his master Galactus as Reed, Ben, and Sue watch from inside their force field. The Surfer believes he has now found something worth fighting for, and though he does not want to battle Galactus, a being he has served with the utmost loyalty, he feels he must. The little world of Earth has given him a conscience, and he cannot watch it die. To restrain Galactus, Silver Surfer encases him with a cocoon of ethereal energy, which solidifies. It doesn't hold him for long, however, as he breaks free from it rather quick. The Human Torch makes his way back to his own universe, with the help of the Watcher. As Johnny collects his bearings, Reed grabs the device he had brought back from Galactus's space station, the Ultimate Nullifier, one of the most powerful weapons in the universe. As the Silver Surfer and Galactus continue their battle, finding themselves at an impasse with one another, Reed intervenes and threatens Galactus with the Ultimate Nullifier. Growing weary, feeling the battle is not worth the reward, Galactus agrees to spare Earth and its people, so long as the Ultimate Nullifier be returned to him. Before he departs, Galactus strips the Silver Surfer of his space-time powers, essentially banishing him on Earth. Then, through dimensional displacement, the mighty Galactus disappears, telling the race of man to be mindful of their greatness, for it will one day lift them up beyond the stars, or bury them within the ruins of war. After celebrating their victory, the Silver Surfer departs from the Fantastic Four to begin his own journey, one that will see him travel the globe and explore the wonders it has to offer. Like I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, the Galactus Trilogy is one of the best storylines to come out of the Silver Age. I think there were a lot of brilliant ideas on display within it, and even though it is a bit tame compared to some of the comics of today, that doesn't mean it's not entertaining or thought-provoking in any way. On the surface, Galactus is a villain, and for all intents and purposes, I would label him as such. However, he is a god of sorts, above human concepts such as good and evil, and therefore cannot be either. Is it wrong that he destroys planets? Not really, because he needs to in order to survive. He clearly states he does not intend to kill, even weaker beings than himself. But if casualties are to occur, they are unavoidable and trivial in the grand scheme of things. If you think about it too, what he does is no different than what humans do to the lesser creatures of the earth, killing them and eating them for sustenance. Much like humans in this instance, his actions serve a purpose. They are made so he may live. The death of one thing is necessary for the survival of another. Obviously, Galactus has been further fleshed out in newer stories, but as an introduction to this character, a debut, this is about as solid as you can get. I love how Jack Kirby and Stan Lee build him up here. The writing, the visuals, it sells you on the fact that he represents the literal doomsday for planet Earth, its final destructor, and also his status as one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, especially at that point in time. Galactus is awesome. I think he's one of the most unique characters in the comic book medium, and his debut in 1966 was something truly special. I'd argue it's one of the best debuts in comic book history, in terms of scale at least. And let's not forget the Silver Surfer. This trilogy marked his first appearance in comics as well, and his arc quickly resonated with Marvel readers, resulting in his appearances in future Fantastic Four stories, as well as his own comic series as well. This has been NerdGasm. I want to thank everyone who took part in the monthly Patreon poll to determine this comic review topic. If you'd like to have a say in what storylines I take a look at next on the channel, head on over to patreon.com/channelNerdgasm and join any tier you wish. Doing so will unlock the ability to vote in these monthly polls. They not only determine the comics I look at, but the top 10s and video game reviews as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, help support the channel by subscribing and hitting that bell icon to be notified of all future content I release. I will see you all in the next one. Take care and long live your inner nerd.